Hey, what's going on, guys? Jeff with Apex Predator Outfitters. Hey, this is part 2 of our military series, and we are going to be talking all about leadership. Without any further ado, let's get right into it. Now, first off, there are generally 3 levels of leadership, at least the way the Army sees it. You've got direct, organizational, and strategic. So when you hear direct leaders, think about that working supervisor, the team leader, the crew chief, things like that. They are on the front lines every day with the team. Next, we go to organizational. Now, when you think organizational, from a military perspective, I want you to think platoon sergeant, first sergeant, commander. See, these are organizational leaders, leaders within the organization. Now, clearly, any next level up supervisor in the civilian world, like a store manager or a branch manager, something like that, that's going to be your organizational leadership in that instance. And lastly, we have strategic. Okay, strategic level leaders. Think division level and up. A division is 20 to 25,000 soldiers. All right, so think that level. That is probably the highest echelon that you're going to get to. Also, you're going to have the fewest amount of leaders there, generally speaking. When you think of the law of numbers, it's rare that people get that high on the food chain. But I would argue the most influential leaders that you are going to have or that you want to be is going to be that direct leader, the one that's on the front lines, inspiring change every day. That is the most impactful leader. You are directly supervising someone. When we get into the definition of leadership, now the Army defines it as the process of influencing others to accomplish the mission by providing purpose, direction, and motivation. Okay, so let's look at that a little bit. The process. Leadership is a process. You don't just get appointed, hey, you're the leader, and now, hey, you do what I say because I'm in charge and I'm the leader. No, leadership is a process in which you influence others, right? You can't make somebody do something. Now, clearly you're in charge and you can say, hey, you need to go do this because I'm in charge. Will they do it? I don't know. It depends. What's the ramifications if they don't? I mean, the only way to actually make someone do something is through physical coercion. Hey, you will do this. But clearly that is not the right way to go, because at the end of the day, if that person doesn't want to do something, they're not going to do it. So it's the process of influencing others. You have to provide that influence. And the way you do that is purpose, direction, and motivation. So let's dig a little bit into purpose, okay? I was a big purpose leader, okay? When you think purpose, think about it this way, the why. Why are we doing something? Now, I'm going to use a real rudimentary example here, but I think you'll get it as I start talking about it. So let's say, for example, there's a pile of sandbags here, and you want to move them over here. And you get your team, hey guys, we need to move these sandbags from here to there. Okay. I'm not going to say there's an issue with that, but if there's no why behind it, you know, it's kind of like, what's the incentive? I mean, you need to be able to motivate people. All right. Motivation is contagious. Now, when you tell them that, you're going to get 2 different types of why. The first type of why is going to be, oh man, why we got to do all that? You know, the one that complains all the time that they don't want to do nothing. The second kind of why would be this. Hey, Sergeant, why are we moving these sandbags from here to there? That's the why you want, okay? So for instance, you as the leader, knowing the next step in the plan, you can explain it to them. Like, hey guys, we need to move these sandbags from here to there. Reason being is these sandbags are going to be used after we put up our tent to hold the flaps down, right? They're going to keep the creepy crawlers out. They're going to keep the heat in and the cold draft out. So right there, you have given them the why. You're not arbitrarily telling them to move these sandbags from here to there. There's a reason behind it. You will find once you give people the reason and the why, it will be much easier to get them to do what you need them to do. So the why is very important. Now, you may not always have the why. And that's okay too. If you are a good leader and you have built trust and credibility in your team, they are going to trust that you're doing the right thing and you're doing it the right way. But in instances like this with the sandbags, it's very easy to give them the why, all right? The next piece of the pie is purpose, direction, okay? You're giving them direction. So for example, if we are using the exact same situation, you want to give them direction. And that's not just telling them, hey, move these from here to there, right? Because then you could end up with them being any kind of way. You understand what I'm saying? They're just going to move the pile. Instead, since you know the eventual outcome is to put these around the tent, this is where the direction piece comes in. Hey guys, we need to move this pile of sandbags from here to there. But when we move them, as you put them down, do them in the outline of the tent. So once the tent gets set up, it will be quicker and easier to just slide them in place. Okay? Now, yes, that is a rudimentary example, but another important thing on giving people direction is you may see as the leader in your head how you want the end state to be, what you want the end to be. But that doesn't mean your subordinates are going to see it that way, if that makes sense. They may have a completely different end state in mind. So the purpose of you giving direction, that's the how-to. Hey, this is how I want you to do this. And it's not that you're insulting anybody's intelligence, and you should preface it with, hey, I don't want to insult your guys' intelligence. I just want to make sure that you are meeting the intent. We are going to do X, Y, Z, and this is the way we're going to do it because it's important that we get the steps right for the final outcome. So that is the direction piece. That is pretty easy, but never underestimate that in the giving direction. And you should always request feedback, meaning you're going to tell somebody, hey, we're going to do this, that, and the other. Do you understand? Yeah, I understand. Do you have any questions, right? Okay, give me a back brief on what we're doing. That is going to ensure everyone is on the same sheet of music. The last thing, so we did purpose, we did direction, now we're doing motivation. This is extremely crucial. Always remember this, motivation is contagious, all right? You may not think so, but if you have a group out there and you've got just a couple of guys or gals that are extremely motivated, that will become infectious and you will see that it's going to come and it's going to infect everybody, right? The key is figuring out a way to motivate people, okay? So for example would be, and this is kind of transactional leadership, which works on the direct side, on the direct line, the transactional leadership. Using our example of the sandbags, hey guys, let's get these sandbags moved, let's get them in place, because once we get done, that's it for the day, right? That would motivate me. Oh, you mean all I got to do is finish up this little thing and I am done for the day? Absolutely. So the providing direction is the key part into making the whole process work smoothly. If you can get everyone out there motivated, fired up, that is exactly how you want to do. And like I said, the transactional piece works. As you develop later, you will learn other forms of leadership and other ways to motivate people. And the one that you want to develop the most, the absolute most, is the fear of your subordinates letting you down. Now, I have had some great leaders in the Army, and I have had some not so good leaders in the Army. But the really great ones, I had a fear, a personal fear that I did not want to let them down, and I did not want to look bad in their eyes, and I did not want to make them look bad. That provided all the motivation that I would ever need. But every individual is going to be different, all right? Everyone gets motivated by different things. Some examples are, some people are motivated by time off. Hey, you do X, Y, Z and you'll get time off. That's cool. Some people are motivated by awards or recognition. Hey, you knock this out, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to put you guys in for an award. It is your job as the leader to identify what motivates your people, and you need to press those buttons and you need to apply that pressure in order to motivate them. I would argue that that is probably the key piece. Purpose and direction, you can learn that. That's pretty easy once you get that down. But the motivation piece, that's what separates the goods from the greats, the guys that are leaders and the guys that are managers, because clearly there is a difference. But in closing, guys, that was a little recap, a little 101 of leadership. And again, just to reinstate, I would argue that the direct leadership, that frontline supervisor, that is going to make or break your organization or whatever you're trying to do. Because the strategic level leaders, you are probably never going to rub elbows with them. You are probably never going to associate with them. But they cannot accomplish what they need to accomplish without the other two echelons doing what they need to do. Okay? So always remember that bare basic leadership at the very bottom, it flows all the way up. And I'm going to leave you with a great quote, okay? And it's basically, I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't have it, memorized, but it goes like this. For want of a shoe, a horse was lost. For want of a horse, a rider was lost. For want of a rider, a battle was lost. For want of a battle, the war was lost. All right? And basically, to break that down, and what that's saying is the lowest level is crucial. It is crucial in accomplishing what you need to accomplish and getting done what you need to get done. But anyway, guys, that is my little bare bones leadership. I hope you guys got something for this. Subscribe, follow, whatever. We're going to be doing the next part here in a couple of days on the military series to try to help you guys out and to share some of the knowledge I learned with 23 years of experience in the Army to pass on to you. Until next time, guys.